Hi guys, so here we are after reading chapter 23 of the book of Matthew, and we are almost there, chapter 23. Okay, so now it's time to review what stood out to you.
So for me, of course, when you read Matthew chapter 23, the majority of the whole chapter deals with Jesus' conversations with the Pharisees and the scribes and what he says to them. And one of the things he does say to him in all his woes, because he says, "Woe to you and woe to you," is in verse 15. Mm-hmm. And it says, "Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You travel over land and sea to win a single convert, and when you have succeeded, you have made them twice as much a child of hell as you are." Just that idea, Jesus is saying, they're going out converting people to Judaism, right? To what the current religion that Jesus was in, right? During that time. And you could apply that to us now, right? We convert people to Christianity. And what they were doing and what we sometimes have the habit or maybe might make the same mistake as the Pharisees do is that when we convert them or when we bring these people into the church, we give them a list of requirements of things they have to do. So you have to talk like this, you have to dress like this, you have to do this, or you have to be here or be there, right? So it's saying here that these Pharisees are converting people, but yet the list that they're giving them,
the do's and the don'ts.
The do's and the don'ts is a long list of even themselves would never be able to do. And I think that's a mistake a lot of us do. I know I've done it in the past where, of course you want to lead them in the right direction, but if you don't give them why they should be doing certain things or the reason behind it, and that's because of our love for Jesus, right? That's why it says in the Bible, in the book of John, "If you love me, keep my commandments." So the things we do are out of the love we have for God, not because we are trying to earn some sort of favor with God or merit with men, or however you want to see it, like favor with church members. You're doing it because you love God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and if we don't present that, we're going to end up like these Pharisees.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody really does that on purpose. I don't think that's the intention, to convert and then give them the list of,
the
do
do's
these
and don'ts,
and don't do these things. But like you said, I feel like everyone needs to focus on the primary, the goal, the point, the whole reason for wanting to make this change. And, God is the only reason, and you're right, we need to focus on that.
And then kind of jumping on that, there's another thing that Jesus says to them. In verse 27, it says, "Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of the bones of the dead and everything unclean. In the same way, on the outside you appear to people as righteous, but on the inside you are full of hypocrisy and wickedness." So it kind of goes back to being changed from the inside out and not from the outside in. It's easy to kind of present ourselves before people, look a certain way, and maybe want others to look a certain way, so we all look perfect in the church. But what Jesus really is concerned about with the Pharisees and with us is our hearts, right? He wants to change us. He wants to change our desires and our motives and our love for what we have for the world, and he wants to change that direction towards him. And not because God is selfish and he wants love from us, but because when we properly love God, it makes life easier. It makes you happy. It makes others around you happy. Ultimately, it leads to the salvation of others because you are the Bible they are reading.
Yeah, I really like how you put that. And I've heard it said before that you might be the only Jesus that people will ever know. And so it actually brings me to my verse, which is towards the end, after Jesus has
all these woes, right?
Yeah, after he's gone through all of that, and it jumps into his laments over Jerusalem. And verse 37 says, "O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the one who kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to her. How often I wanted to gather your children together as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, but you were not willing." If you really think about that verse, I mean, it breaks your heart. Like, it really puts it into perspective how, I mean, you know, a hen gathers her chicks under her wings for protection, for love, for warmth. And I feel like these are things that we all like want, whether we know it or not. It's things that we all want and need.
We all want to feel loved
And protected and safe. And this is what God wants to offer us. And we don't want to accept it. You know, a lot of us don't want to accept it, and we refuse this, and we act just like the people in Jerusalem. And he just wants to love us and protect us and bring us under his wings.
And like the last part that says, "But you were not willing." So even though Jesus wants to do that for us, it's in the end, it's our decision, right? We have to make that decision to be covered by the wings of...
We have to be willing and wanting to receive his love and protection.
Yes. So make sure to leave your comments of what spoke to you down here below, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
God bless you guys.